some of you have been with us just a few minutes before as we have worked on the sacred pentagram for Capricorn, the second sacred pentagram. We have actually 5 of them, but one of them gets incorporated into the actual full moon. The full moon broadcast, as you probably have, is coming right up. It is a broadcast, not a webinar. And the actual full moon is at 3:28 and 04 seconds in the morning. So, and we start at 1:50 a.m. GMT in the morning. So that's coming right up, not long after we finish our pre-full moon. We'll have a lot of Capricorn that we've been working on together, and indeed it is, well, it's such a powerful sign. You know, think of it. We know that there are sacred and non-sacred planets and synthesizing planets. Maybe what we don't realize is that not all constellations of the zodiac are equally developed. Some of them are of a higher caliber in their unfoldment than others, and Capricorn is one of those, very highly unfolded out of the 12. And as we know, the great sign of initiation and achievement, the sign which is so powerful, balancing head and heart perfectly at this Christmas time, and excuse me, in anticipation of the declarations that we will make, you know, our resolutions. It has a lot to do with the spiritual will. So hopefully you'll be able to join us at least for some of our round the clock vigil, which will take us from the celebration of those who celebrate the New Year first in that particular time zone all the way to the end, and that'll last about a day. And we will have a number of people who will be talking about their spiritual life and making presentations regarding the year 2020, which is, well, just leaving us, and it's been an extraordinary year, and what may be anticipated for 2021. Everyone will have a different angle, and because it's going to be on Zoom, you will have the opportunity to ask questions and offer your thoughts and so forth. Okay, well, it's nice to see you here. I'm not going to go through the number of people that we have, but welcome, welcome. Now, before us, we see this banner, which carries the message of Capricorn. And let's see if I can get, I'm not sure I can get this exactly. No, it's not exactly working as well. I'll make maybe the banner a little bit, a little smaller. And that way, the picture will not interfere. Lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. Well, as we realize, Capricorn is ruled in 3 ways. Orthodoxly by Saturn, when the difficulties of existence and the paying of so much karma is overcome. The difficulties are overcome and the paying is overcome. And then esoterically, also by Saturn, when we begin to understand what the divine plan may really be. So from the highest levels of hierarchy, and as it is conceived on the atmic plane, which is the Saturnian plane, we understand more and more of how we can fulfill our part in the divine plan under Capricorn. Saturn means something different, really, in all of the signs in which it rules, namely, well, I shouldn't say all, it's Capricorn and Libra, maybe even more powerful in Libra than Capricorn. And finally, Venus brings us into the hierarchical rulership and helps those on Earth conform in such a way that, well, maybe ever so slowly, but gradually and inevitably, the Earth conforms itself to Venus. And the two one day, I think, will unite. It's my impression that when the time of synthesis comes, Venus will be an important synthesizing planet for the Earth, absorbing it esoterically. And then Venus itself will be absorbed by Neptune. But those are, you know, events that occur far into the future. Right now, we simply need to understand the supernal light of Venus and the even greater supernal light of Capricorn. The lords of the constellations are much greater beings than the lords of the planets, but, you know, they have their relationship. So we'll be pondering, and actually there's maybe not so much time left to ponder, but even following the full moon we can ponder. We have about 7 hours or so, a little bit more, to ponder. Lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. Capricorn is a sign of periodic arresting. Think of those words, periodic arresting. You cannot go any higher on that particular peak. You have to come down and you have to serve with all that you have gathered in the valleys and distribute widely in Aquarius and in a salvational way through Pisces, what you have gained on the mountaintop. And each one of us does that in various ways. You know, even in a little lifetime, we gain a certain realization, and we then find a time that it is necessary to share it, however slight it may be relatively. Lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. Is he a Dutch artist? Passed away not too long ago, Joffre, and he's given us such an insight here. Let's see if I can enlarge that a little bit. I think I can. And yeah, it's not the unicorn up there, and in a way it should be, but it still, you know, stands for the radiant goat, no longer the ambitious, selfish individual out to fulfill the personality, but someone really who has climbed the mountain of karma. And we aspire towards that. There in the lower right-hand corner, we find the individual reaching out, reaching up to become this radiant being. So just kind of imagine a unicorn there. Capricorn is a sign of a rocky kind of a density. It has two sides to it, really, and really it explains the difference between good and evil. As DK says, some of the, well, some of those who have chosen the wrong path are much animated by Capricorn, and yet the great initiates ever higher, the first through the fifth initiation, are also characterized by Capricorn, and in a way it has to do with the entire cosmic physical plane, because Saturn is considered to be the permanent atom of the cosmic physical plane. And so it links it directly into Capricorn. Notice that we have age and youth both in the same image. We're used to bony Saturn as kind of the symbol of death, with his scythe reaping the form when the time has come, because Saturn rules cycles, and all forms must come to an end. The idea is that this should be properly timed, and then one is reborn into new possibilities, also under the Saturnian cycle. So the infants are there, and also the aged individual within, in a sense, a symbol of the cave of initiation. So there's a connection here as well, with the jewel in the lotus as a high condensation of spiritual powers, bringing through the spiritual will of Atma and of the monad. So Saturn, the great friend of the disciple, could the disciple only realize it? And we can call upon, Saturn has been very merciful, even though it does not have the 2-4-6 line emphasized at all, but created a bridge to our present solar system, we are told, when factors in the last solar system were collapsing. There was a rebellion at that time, just as on the moon chain, and some were stranded, the so-called nomads or the monads, and they needed a bridge into our more progressive solar system, and Saturn, in his mercy, provided that. So Saturn is indeed our friend, the friend of all disciples. We have here, I think, also some images from Francis and BL, from Francis Donald, and BL has put them in the chat box so you can read more specifically what Francis has said. The next image we want to look at is this beautiful one. I think it's, excuse me, one of his very best, I think. And although I'm not going to read everything he said about this, you will see, the eagle, you will see the rising Venus, you will understand the capstone of the pyramid, you will understand that the initiate has conquered the king of beasts and sits upon the lion's skin. So let us see if I can find this. I think I can. And I'd like to read just a little bit, having seen the image. As the sun pauses for a moment on the horizon, we step inside the pyramidion, the capstone of the Great Pyramid, and there seems to be a transparency there, doesn't there? I mean, we don't have that in the ruins of the present pyramids, but we have it in likely in the past. One of the most sacred places on Earth, or at least of humanity's construction, initiate construction. A rare moment in the life of a disciple is unfolding before us. We see, and here's the quotation, the emergence of the consciousness of the initiate, white and one-pointed, and the defeat of the king of beasts, the personality, the lion skin, right? The triumph of selflessness and illumination over selfishness. It's the old story of the lion and the unicorn, and the single eye of the unicorn, represented by the horn, pierces the dualistic vision of the king of beasts, and we go into the state of appreciated unity. Thus, we have the theme of this month's full moon entitled Initiation, the New Unicorn. The initiate is the unicorn. His victory has taught him to kneel. Capricorn, physically rules the knees, and the achievement, not so much in the past, but in the future, and increasingly so, has taught him to kneel upon the lion's skin for, and quote, only when the Capricornian subject learns to kneel in all humility and with his knees upon the rocky mountaintop to offer his heart and life to the soul and to human service, can he be permitted to pass through the door of initiation and be entrusted with the secrets of life. The secret of the soul, you see, is conveyed in Capricorn. Only on his knees can he go through that door. And the footnotes, you can get that when you study it from the link that BL has given you. He, quote, offers his heart and life to the soul. And then the mudras are given and so forth. The same idea is given to us when we look at this gompa, or the way up the mountain to the temple. And Francis has said some very fine things about it. So we're all in a climb. Now, that climb is sometimes called the law of group progress. That's the ordinary name for it, and it's the fifth law of the soul. But it's also called the law of elevation. And the initiate becomes increasingly group conscious, and is able to elevate, help to elevate the group towards higher and higher points of tension, represented by these structures. So study what is said on this, and you will find the incentive to rise in an initiatory way. Now, not everybody treads the path of initiation. Not everybody, okay? Elevation will occur for all of humanity gradually without undertaking the specific disciplines that initiation requires, the pressures and the concentrated focus that will make initiation possible in a much shorter time so that one can truly help. Not everyone will do that. And the question that comes to each one of us is, will we be among those who make that attempt, who count the cost, who pay the price of elevation, and who pay the price of the intensifying of the point of tension? All of these kinds of questions can be addressed in the sign Capricorn. Okay. Now, let's see here. This is our meditation, and we will proceed with it. We are definitely within the day of safeguarding and the days of confidence, aspiration, dedication. These days of preparation have passed, and already we should be, I think, feeling something of this solemn energy, solemn yet joyful energy descending into our consciousness. There's not much time left. Some may go to sleep, for a little while, in which case entertain the best you can in your dreams, if you have any, the idea of lost am I in light supernal. Yet on that light I turn my back. So group progress, group identification, that's how we begin on this day of safeguarding, with the full moon coming up exactly at 3:28 and 4 seconds a.m. GMT, and our program beginning at 1:50 a.m. GMT. So we begin with our recognition that the soul is projected at first within the personality as the soul in incarnation. And that's usually how we register the self. The soul in incarnation registers the personal self, but we have to learn how to withdraw using the old Raja Yoga methods. I have a body, but I am not that body. It is my instrument. I have the astral vehicle, the sentient field of attractions and repulsions, but I am not that. I have a concrete mind with which to think logically and bring more light to bear on reality. But that is also an instrument, and I am not that, except for the reservation that everything is everything else, but that's another matter. So I let those personality vehicles fade out of my consciousness. And I, as it were, slip into the presence of the egoic lotus. I anchor myself there, imaginatively at least, and feel myself and my group established within this field of light, spiritual light, spiritual love, and spiritual mind and power. The sacrifice petals are mental petals, after all. And if we could only feel ourselves, center ourselves within this egoic lotus more frequently, and then even finally, we would be on the verge of achieving a transfiguration of the personality. So we merge ourselves in this sense of the soul as the group soul. The soul is group conscious. And all of us are within this field, really, of one soul. And so are the men and women of goodwill all over the world. And so are the members of the new group of world servers, who are even more concentrated upon service than will be the average well-intended, good-willed person. They're all part of this one soul. And so will all human beings, really. Everywhere. Because the truth of the matter is, as the rules tell us, there is no my soul or thy soul. We are no longer to use the thought, my soul and thine, there is finally only one consciousness. That's on the level of consciousness, and on the level of being, even more dramatically, we can say, naught is but me. It's sometimes a realization we have to wait for. I don't know that so many of us live in that realization all the time, that naught is but me. But it begins to come through the heart and through that line of hearts with which we are possessed, or which possess us. The heart and the head, as well as the ordinary heart center and the egoic lotus and the monad as a heart center of a kind, and beyond. Naught is but me. And to achieve this, even the beginning of the initiate consciousness, which door is open to us, we have to understand what it means. This naught is but me. It's a very big step. And in Capricorn, we can say that the supernal light, as it begins to seep into the consciousness, reveals this strange thought, which is foundational to the initiate consciousness. Naught is but me. But we do have to increasingly refocus within the spiritual triad, the truly impersonal, non-local world, to begin to really sense such possibilities. And that means the building of the Antakarana. It happens to a degree naturally, but also on purpose. And DK gives about 100 pages of instruction regarding how to do it in the rays and the initiations. So around the area of the mental unit on the fourth subplane of the mental plane, we begin to gather the energy of the knowledge petals, the energy of the love petals, the energy of the sacrifice petals, the energy of the synthesis petals, which are Buddhic in their origin, and the energy of the jewel in the lotus, monadic in its origin. We retain these energies around the mental unit as we visualize passing through these retained energies from the astral level to the Buddhic level, the multicolored rainbow bridge, or Antakarana, the inner organ as it is called. And it can only, in the imagination, reach toward the Buddhic permanent atom, atmic permanent atom, and monad because of the very high point of tension on which those structures exist. But it can go in that direction. And as a group, we visualize this multicolored bridge as colored mainly when we do this group work by the indigo ray of love wisdom. And we will project a vivid line of white light through the indigo on the way into the triad, and expect at some point to be met by the descending energies of the triadal vehicles and permanent atoms. The vehicles are not yet constructed, but they're on their way. So we'll use the mantram, the word of power. I see the greatest light. We somehow realize how close that is to the light supernal of Capricorn. And we will sound the Om as we inwardly project the magical words, I see the greatest light. However far we may have reached in our projection, something comes forth from above. Spiritual will, the love and wisdom of the Buddhic plane, the true abstract thought of the monastic permanent atom, and even as we approach in all humility to the idea of Shambhala, there will be, from that great center of unfettered enlightenment, some dropping in, some flow of that greatest light, with Sanat Kumara as the highest example of the teaching ray on our planet and the director of the one fundamental school of occultism in Shambhala, from which the greatest light, at least for our planet, flows in. So our consciousness is at least imaginatively transferred into the triadal levels, where the consciousness of the masters, the great majority of them at least, is presently focused. The spiritual triad as a whole characterizes their consciousness, and as we offer our cooperation through salutation, we draw ever closer to the kind of consciousness, to the sense of being, which they ongoingly possess. Inwardly, then, with heartfelt gratitude, we offer our salutations to the Masters, beginning with the head of the hierarchy, the Lord Maitreya, the Christ. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all masters, and the teacher alike of angels and of men. Salutations to the triangle of masters with whom we most closely work customarily. Oh. Salutations to the Master Moria, the head of all esoteric schools and organizations. Salutations to the Master Kutumi, the Bodhisattva of the age of Capricorn, 2,000 years ahead. Salutations to the Master Dwalkul, the designated messenger of the Masters, who has given us what we call the Blue Books, and who trains students from a number of different ashrams. Salutations to your own master as you know him to be or conceive him to be, the one towards whom you gravitate. Salutations to the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. And we imaginatively raise our thought toward Shambhala, the center where the will of God is known, and with deepest reverence and in all humility we attempt, identified together as our group soul, to attune with something of the energy of the presence of Sanat Kumara, standing at the center of Shambhala. And we inwardly, silently sound the long, voiceless Om, a silent Om, imagining the group and all world servers imbued with his energy. And so we are working, at least imaginatively, under the impress of purpose, especially at this Capricornian time. Purpose and plan and manifestation. It is as if we, in this little group, gather together at a point, a radiant point, characterized by light and love, and by the willingness to sacrifice. It is as if the point into which we have entered hovers above a golden pathway which leads into an indigo sun, where we will find the consciousness and presence of the Master Decay, and that golden pathway shortens and shortens and shortens until we find ourselves absorbed in the great sphere of indigo, which is a kind of reflection of the soul of the blue logos. And here we hope to become outposts of the consciousness of Master Decay. As we think of the various planets and rays active at this time, and of the great meditative theme, lost am I in light supernal. Yet on that light I turn my back. And so, supported by the presence of Master Decay, who said he would be on the outlook for groups approaching his ashram in the right way for the 12 hours before the full moon. He had in mind, of course, specifically his group of accepted disciples, but we can participate. We will encounter Saturn exoterically and esoterically, at first conveying the discipline to honor all life's duties and karmic requirements, because that's how we climb that mountain of karma. And esoterically, conveying the resolve to live according to the laws of the soul, and thus fulfilling our individual and group specific dharma in the divine plan. And we will encounter Venus, that energy, the hierarchical ruler, conveying full illumination of the world of the soul, eventually, to the eventually transfigured soul in incarnation. We will seek the support of Master DK as we do this. So at first, we consider together, supported by his consciousness, that the planet Saturn is the planet of opportunity, spiritual rather than strictly personal opportunity. To bring the opportunity to bring both the individual and the group into alignment with karmic law by exercising our responsibilities, our group responsibilities, and later spiritual responsibilities. DK has told us that responsibility, the acceptance of responsibility, is perhaps the very first indication that one is truly living one's life in the three lower worlds according to the influence of the soul. So think of your responsibilities to be fulfilled. And think of bringing that will to fulfill responsibility into the group. So even in the small mundane things, the next duty rightly performed will be the opportunity for elevation and for playing a more useful part in the expression of the divine plan. We'll sound an Om as we see that largely green energy coming into the group. But now we also think of esoteric Saturn, aligning with the divine plan and finding our role in that plan and expressing with full responsibility our role in that plan. Conforming, a Saturnian word, conforming as much as possible to the divine plan as revealed to us, individually and for our group. We're learning a voluntary sacrifice under the guidance of spiritual will, coming from the atmic plane at the top of the world of Brahma. And it's right here that we want ourselves and all members of the group to really assume responsibility for their role, whatever they can understand by that role in the divine plan. What is your role? So, with these energies now rather intense and available, we see this green, largely Ray 3, divine plan subservient energy entering the group. Again, on the note Fa or F, the green note. And finally, much different, the hierarchical ruler with its second ray, sixth ray monad, and its fifth ray soul, Venus. and some little bit of the light supernal, perhaps, in which we can see pure spiritual love that brings union and knowledge and love all together, the union of heart and mind. We'll ponder on the secret of the supernal light encountered on top of the mountain for a few minutes, or a few moments anyway. It's part of the secret of the soul in Capricorn, offered to us through Venus. Bringing us towards transfiguration. I'm going to use an esoteric fifth ray note, which is the A, an indigo note, esoterically. And we will, as if witness that indigo energy related also to the second ray of the Venusian monad. We will imagine it flowing into our groups, giving the union of heart and mind, love, wisdom. Above all, let our group life be characterized by this indigo ray, whether representing the fifth or the second. It is solar angelic in nature. And in the light of these encounters, we can raise our consciousness to the blue logos, the indigo logos, the one of whom it is said, our God is a consuming fire, the fire of love. Imagining that as monads, we are all units within the solar logos. We have come forth for this solar system at least, from the solar logos. And we must express love, wisdom. No matter what our ray may be, or ray combination, in this solar system, a great heart, love, wisdom. So when we look at the sun, in a way we're looking at home, at least in relation to this solar system. And we want to shine in soul and in monad as the sun shines for us. But even greater energies are now available. The energies of a great constellational lord, Capricorn, bringing in the first, third, and seventh rays, and represented planetarily by third ray Saturn and fifth ray Venus. So we turn our attention as a group to that great triangle in the sky, Capricorn, that constellation. And we ponder, as perhaps we have been pondering for some time, lost am I in light supernal. Yet on that light, I turn my back. We do not only pass towards the great center of absorption. We could. That would be the line of the Pratyeka Buddhas. But under the bodhisattvic impulse, we turn our back to the great light. And in whatever way we can, through our chakras, we throw light upon the path of those for whom the way is still dark. And lo, the face of those upon the darkened way receives that light. For them the way is not so dark. Lost am I in light supernal, yet on that light I turn my back. We ponder. as that light is accessed at this solemn time, something of the will that conquers death reaches us. First ray. Something of the intelligence needed by the true disciple. Third ray. Something representing the union of the highest and the lowest under the seventh ray. The highest and the lowest meet. And from the very central center, the heart in the head, of the one about whom naught may be said, the supercosmic logos, from whom or in whom Capricorn plays its part, the energy does go forth. And it connects with constellations that have its rays, the Great Bear, the Pleiades, the Dragon, and makes its way, this energy, into the cosmic logos, of which our sun and its solar system is a great heart center. And the Capricorn energy infuses our solar logos. And the planets, which are distributors of this Capricornian energy, Saturn and Venus particularly, and reaches our Earth, which has a peculiarly powerful connection to Saturn and to a great third ray being, of whom Saturn is the head, the mental body, Mars, the astral body, and Earth, the physical, etheric body. And this energy pours through Shambhala, stimulating the monad. And pours also through the hierarchy. The secret of the soul is found in Capricorn, stimulating the soul of each one of us. And it also has connection with the ajna and the throat center of every human being, especially those who are at that point of evolution where they can access So we are steeped now in this Capricornian energy, the energy of its rays, the light, supernal, the planets which represent it, a great Capricorn opportunity is with us. And we can use it to promote the group progress of those groups with whom we are affiliated, and under the law of elevation, we can raise or help to raise these groups. And so the highest and the lowest can meet, heaven and earth, the higher and the lower pairs of opposites, and we can begin to know something of the onset of the initiate consciousness. And in this troubled world, we can send the Capricornian energy, now so available, with all its accessory energies, into an area of our choosing that we think needs its presence. We can do that now. And we can see improvement on the sound of the Om, the second ray. Is it not time for humanity to behave more responsibly? We'll close this meditation with the great invocation, looking forward in another, well, just about 6 hours. To the Well, see, that's the exact time of the full moon, but we begin in another 4 hours or so. 4 hours and a little more, with the meditation service at the usual live link channel of YouTube. And then that'll take us to the exact moment of the full moon. So we close with a great invocation and our appreciation that you've been able to be here. Thank you. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men. The purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Thank you. And we'll see you, some of you anyway, in about 4 hours as we continue to intensify our approach to the energies of Capricorn. Lots of love, many blessings from Tuya and myself and all the members of the communications team and, well, you know, everybody. Moria Federation, USR, SRI, Blue Rose, everything. We're all in this together. See you soon. Bye-bye.